welcome to another episode of Exposure Rounds the podcast. I'm your host, Mustafa. Today's guest might not need an introduction, but because I took the time to write something out, if you don't mind, I'd like to make sure you get your proper flowers. Is that okay with you, sir?
That's okay.
Is that okay with you, Dad?
That's awesome.
All right, cool. Here we go. I'm going to read it just like I wrote it, if that's all right.
Okay.
All right, cool. Today's guest is somebody who's been making waves not just on the hardwood, but all around the world. He's been doing it since he was 8 years old. Now, is that correct? Since
Yes,
8?
eight.
All right, cool. Because I like to be factual up here. So if it was actually 7, I wanted to say 7. All right, cool. We're talking about a young man who stands at 6'3". Is that correct?
Yes.
Not an inch higher, not an inch shorter.
No,
All right, cool.
Dad,
We
I
might
don't
have
know
to
what you just-
revisit that.
All right, we'll revisit that. 6'3" shooting guard out of Chicago, Illinois. Of course, that's where we are. The founder and CEO of Project I Am, a published author, that's pretty dope. Published author, a global change maker and a baller on the rise. Now, before we even get to the basketball, you got to understand who this young man is off the court. That's where his story begins. Now, at 8 years old, after helping his aunt distribute food to unhoused people on the street, a.k.a. the homeless, all right, people who are underprivileged, Jaquil launched Project I Am with the help of his parents. Of course, an 8-year-old can't launch many things without the parents' consent, for starters, but definitely their help. From there, as I mentioned, he launched Project I Am, a nonprofit dedicated to raising awareness about homelessness. The mission was simple but powerful. He put together blessing bags packed with essentials and got a chance to hand them out to the people in need most. Fast forward to today, and under Jaquil's leadership, Project I Am has raised nearly $1 million. Is that correct?
Yep.
Impacted over 300,000 people globally. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Distributed blessing bags across cities like his hometown of Chicago, Los Angeles, and Atlanta. That's correct.
Yep.
One city that is definitely missing on here, can we guess what that is?
Philly.
Yeah, why we not? So Philly don't get no blessing bags? That's crazy.
Jaquil actually loves
That's
Philadelphia
crazy.
too.
Internationally, in places like Ghana, he got to visit the motherland, Switzerland, India, London, and a disaster-stricken areas including Puerto Rico and Guatemala. The organization has also expanded with youth-led branches in France, Spain, and Toronto. So what I read there, when I was doing my research, that just means to me that passport is stamped up, my boy. That passport stamped up?
No.
No?
I mean, he hasn't gone out of the
yeah.
country.
Oh.
I mean, yes, he has.
I
He's
have
been to
once, but
Colombia.
We actually send the bags with organizations that are already going
Okay.
to those places. Yeah, that's.
I mean, but you got stamps on that passport.
Yeah.
All right, that's all that matters then. All right, that's all that matters. If that wasn't enough, he also wrote his first book at 12 years old. Is that correct?
Yep.
Title of the book was called I Am. It was aimed at helping kids who have experienced bullying, drawing from his own personal experiences, which I definitely want to talk about because I, too, was bullied as a child. And I remember the guy's name. His name was Shannon, and I beat his ass later on in life, but we'll talk about that. He's now a 2-time best-selling author. You have another book on the way, correct?
Well, actually,
it's already
It's
out.
already
It
out,
dropped
yeah,
it already.
3
Okay.
times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. So that was incorrect. So instead of
like
2 times, it's now 3 times.
Yeah.
3
All right,
times.
cool. We're going to correct ourselves. All right. From there, he's collaborated with top brands, including Nike, the NBA, the Obama Foundation, and President Barack Obama himself acknowledged Jaquil as one of the 3 influential people of 2017. And the legendary GOAT himself, LeBron James, invited him into his Always Believe campaign. Now, let's talk about basketball. Jaquil got his start on the hardwood in his hometown of Chicago, beginning his high school career at De La Salle and finishing up at Curie, one of the most storied programs in CPS. They play in the red. They won 1 state title and won 3 city titles, with the most recent being just past year, 2026. Jaquil played AAU with Io Dos Elite, which is Io's
Io from Chicago
from
Bulls,
Chicago.
who is now with Minnesota.
Oh, that's right. He did get traded to Minnesota.
Yeah.
But he
he's
went to the
killing, too.
University of Illinois. Fun fact, when we first started the platform, his mother was a huge supporter of the platform. He comes from a great family.
Yes.
Comes from a great family. So you played AAU with them. From there, you decided to make the move to the prestigious prep school, Spire Academy in Ohio, one of the most elite prep programs in the nation, a place that has produced NBA talent like LaMelo Ball and Isaiah Jackson. Determined to play against the best competition on the court, and hopes it will provide an opportunity to play at the highest Division I and professional levels. If I may introduce Mr. Jaquil Jackson and his father, Jamil.
Peace. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it. You guys are actually the first guest that we've had in our brand new studio, amply named the Kennedy Blaze Media Center out here in Broadview, Illinois. I'm very excited to share this space with you, to share what we've kind of accomplished over the last 6 months to a year, and to be able to have you up here really means a lot. So thanks for taking the time out to being up here, man. Like, we're going to jump into, a couple questions. Just kind of want to get your story. As I mentioned before we came on the air, this is an opportunity for the people who know you from basketball to merge with the people who know you from your nonprofit status, and getting an opportunity to merge those two groups of people. So I told you I'm going to talk to you just like I talked to my own son. I think I had a blessing of your dad. I'll try to keep it. I'm not going to keep it PG, but I'll maybe keep it PG-13. PG-13.
He's heard the worst.
Okay, he's heard worse. All right, cool. Then we good. All right, so now we're going to just kind of go right from the beginning. We're going to take it back to the beginning. You were 8 years old when you started Project I Am. What was going through your mind when you handed out the very first blessing bag? And did you ever imagine that it would turn into what it's turned into today?
I would say when I was handing out the first blessing bags, it was just a lot of joy. At that age, I was really a curious, excited kid, just happy to give back to the community because it had been 3 years building up because the first experience that I had was when I was 5 years old. So I was building up throughout those 3 years trying to do something. And then at 8 years old, we finally created the organization, got to hand out the first blessing bags, and it was just an amazing experience. I still remember the shelter we gave out to was Mission Garden, I think, downtown. It was a really cool experience, just hearing their stories, seeing the smiles on their faces, the thank yous, God bless you. Staying in school was a popular one, but it was a really cool experience, yeah.
That when he initially came to you and a mom to want to start not just the Project I Am, but just to kind of get back to the community in that way. What did you think? What was your thoughts? And initially, when you kind of sat down and processed it, like how proud of him were you?
We have been seeing little signs of it. He asked us, could he go to church when he was little? He asked us, could he start getting dressed up for Easter? Like, he had it in him. But that experience with his auntie going to feed the homeless, that struck home. In 3 years, from 5 to 8, of nagging us about it, we had to do something. And, I mean, he pretty much comes from a very giving family, so it's natural for him.
That first experience, usually, because my youngest son is like this now, right? Normally, when we're out and about, you have this experience with people who are homeless, and what I've learned, and I'm sure you've learned even more, is that everybody's story is different. People who are homeless don't automatically mean they're addicted to drugs, although that may have played a small part, but
one size don't fit all.
One size don't fit all, right? So when you first got into it, from 5 and even to 8, your first experience, like, what was that like for you? Were you scared? Did you have some type of apprehension, just kind of interacting with them?
Yeah.
Obviously, the homeless people, they have a look about them. I mean, let's just kind of be real about it. Like, what was that like for you?
I would say my parents were the ones that were more scared than me. Like, they were scared for me. They were scared because I wasn't scared, I'd say. Like, I had no type of fear. Like I said, it was just me being full of joy and excited to give back. So, like, I was going up to them, not thinking about what could happen because I'm 8. I'm not thinking about, the negatives in the world.
Right.
I would say they were more scared than me.
Yeah, imagine innocence walking up to it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was trying to remember while he was talking where we literally just was with my youngest son, and we were walking down the street, and, I know where we was. We were celebrating Eid. And after the Eid prayer, we went and got something to eat with my brother and sister. And then from there, we went to Primark just to kind of pick up some things. As we were walking along down on State, because we went down to the mosque downtown, it was a guy there, and he was, they say little stuff to you to try to get you to. And Ziggy, my youngest son name is Zayden, but we call him Ziggy. He was like, Mom, he's saying something to us. And we try not to take that from him, but it's also kind of like, boy, come on. Ain't nobody, listening to that. So, like, you do, unfortunately, fall into that realm of, like, I hate to say ignoring them, but you also try to come into your own and like you do want to help in some way. I do remember being in Philly where I saw a guy, I'll never forget this. He was laying and sleeping on a grate, like it was cold, and I noticed his socks.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have it had holes in it. It was really cold, and he was laying on the grate because obviously it was steam coming out of it. And I'll never forget. I went to Payless and bought him a couple pairs of socks and took it back. So you do have it in you, but it does come from family, like kind of seeing what were kind of accustomed to or growing up.
Yeah.
You've now impacted over 300,000 people globally, raised nearly $1 million. When you hit milestones like that, how do you celebrate? Do you even slow down long enough to celebrate?
I say we don't even slow down that much. Like, besides, we just had our 10-year anniversary, of course. So times like that, we gotta celebrate. When we hit 100,000 bags, we celebrate a little bit. But it usually is on to the next goal, on to the next event. So I don't usually slow down too much.
It's not a slowdown, but he loves his occasional, like, I'm going to pig out. I'm going to go eat a lot and to get up tomorrow and work again.
Now, when you guys are putting together these bags, are you doing it from your home? Do you guys have a location? Did it start off in the home? Because I would imagine that it's stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So what does that look
everywhere.
like?
Yeah, it started off, the initiative really kicked off like doing it at event space, but we have our headquarters is at my godfather's house. And we started, having bag stuffings there. That's where we get a lot of the items shipped to. And then when we came up with virtual packing parties out of COVID, that was an idea that I came up with because we were going through it during COVID. A lot of nonprofits were. So I had to figure out how we can keep going. Came up with the idea. We send the items out to people, but in order to do that, they come to us. So we got all these boxes, all these Amazon boxes coming to us. And the house is looking crazy. We got boxes everywhere, and then we pack those up and then send them out to people all across the world, and then get on a Zoom call at the same time and pack them.
He's also forgetting that when he was younger, his mother had an office downtown near Roosevelt on Wabash.
Okay.
We did a few
Oh,
packing
yeah.
parties there. She had enough space to kind of store some things, but it didn't stop things from getting piled up in the house.
So, all right. So one of the things packing parties, like you come up with these ideas now, is very impressive that somebody of your young age has these ideas. Do they just come to you? Is it kind of like something that you guys talk about collectively, or do they pop in your head like, Mom, Dad, I got this idea of a packing party, virtual packing party? Like, how does that inspire you? How do you come up with
that
those
one
ideas?
off? I think that one pretty much came out of necessity. Like you said, because of COVID, everything got shut down. But, organizations are trying to find ways to keep going, keep it moving. And that's how the virtual packing party pretty much kicked off.
Yeah.
Okay. You built a network of over 3,000 young change makers around the world. How do you inspire the other kids to get involved? What do you say to them? And is there a selection process?
It's not a selection process. I think it's mainly me using my age to my advantage, me using my personality to my advantage, because at the end of the day, I might be 18, but like at heart, I'm still like 7 years old. So I'm very goofy. I know how to interact with them because I'm so close in age with a lot of young people and have the same I have the same humor as them. I understand the jokes, so it makes it easier than how like maybe an adult coming to the school trying to preach an idea to them that they don't really care about. They're ignoring them. But I've kind of used that to my advantage and added some, fun, like whether we was making a TikTok, whether I was making jokes that they understand, it makes it easier for them to want to retain information from me. So I've used that over the years and have just become kind of like a big brother to a lot of people, been able to mentor a lot of young people that I see myself in, that can eventually, they have a different mindset than I think a lot of other young people.
Now, I know personally one of your younger mentees, Lil Harper Anthony.
Yeah.
Shout out to Harper.
Yeah, shout out to Harper. I've known his mother since I moved to Chicago. I used to work with her at Excel. I remember when she was pregnant with Harper. So that's how long I've known Harper literally since birth.
Nice.
And he has blossomed into a phenomenal young man.
Incredible.
His platform itself is his platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just thinking about young people like Harper, Like, what does that mean to you that you have people like Harper, that younger generation, like looking up to you as a hooper and as a philanthropist?
It means a lot, especially since my parents didn't give me a sibling. I've never had. I've
Shots
always
fired.
said it has its benefits where I get everything, I get all the attention, but on the other hand, sometimes it's a little lonely. So whenever I can get a chance to, talk to young people about future projects that I'm doing, future events that they can be a part of, and then they get to see with their own eyes how important it is to work in the community. It's always awesome to see the next generation of leaders.
Yeah. President Obama personally recognized you as one of the most influential people of 2017, right? That is amazing. LeBron obviously brought you into his Always Believe campaign. You partnered with Nike, the NBA. You're 18, right?
18.
How do you keep your head level when you're getting that kind of recognition at such a young age? I mean,
Yeah.
Bron is Bron, and then Obama is Obama.
Yeah, I've always been a very humble kid. I'm a big introvert, so it may seem weird because of all the stuff that I do, but I've always been an introvert. I don't like talking to people. I don't like, going up to people. But my parents kind of they forced me out of that to go network and build my brand kind of. So growing up, having to do that, but also having that humble aspect has always helped me stay grounded. I never really take anything to the head, so it's pretty easy for me not to get big head or anything like that.
So from somebody looking at him from the outside,
Yeah,
that perception may look like conceited, stuck up, full of themselves. But in actuality, he's just quiet.
yeah, I'm very quiet. A lot of people can take my quietness and me being humble and not like talking about stuff as me being like an angry, conceited kid that thinks he's too good to talk to anybody. But that's not the kid. I'm just very quiet.
I recently saw a funny video, a meme of this kid around your age saying, if you haven't gotten that part of my personality yet, maybe you haven't earned that.
Yeah, you gotta talk to me. I think.
Yeah, you gotta earn that.
So what? It's so interesting hearing you talk, right? Because that part alone, as you're talking, right, I immediately wrote down only child. So if you take all of your accolades and all of the things that you've done from your nonprofit, you actually have the characteristics of a only child. That was Xavier. It kind of still is, even though we did bless him with a younger sibling.
Yeah.
You can talk to them about that later, right? And it was actually around this age too. So it ain't too late, there, big guy.
It ain't too late.
It ain't too late. You gotta get You might have to leave the house though, because I don't know if you don't want to hear that. But anyway,
He still got Nari. He got a little cousin.
That's the only child syndrome, and so Xavier is still like that in a lot of ways. He quote unquote isolates himself in his room a lot. He's kind of a loner, if you will. Mm-hmm. He does a lot of times come off to other people. I know it. I watch the interactions as arrogant. Sometimes think he too good. Mm-hmm. But we've also, and again, I know this to be the case. With you and your wife, we are very purposeful in providing our child and now children with experiences. Like they travel. Both of them have passports. We even before we moved to Chicago, when we lived in Philly, my network provided me opportunities to take them to Eagles games and Sixer games and things of that nature. So my children, we go places. Yeah. We ain't just stuck here in Chicago. We wasn't just stuck in Philly. Like we get out, we outside. You know what I mean? So that's the only child syndrome. And then you spoke about building your brand, like keeping your brand at a certain level. My question is, as an 18-year-old who's at that age now, like, all right, just me and you talking now, you got the girls. How do you stay focused and stay focused? Like, obviously, you're a young man. Pause. You're an handsome young man. How do you keep yourself like, I have some interesting girls, but also you don't want to put yourself in no situation where they taking advantage of who you are. Like, how do you navigate that?
I think I've navigated that the best because of the parents that I have, the way that they've raised me and the things that they've taught me growing up. My mom is really big on that, being careful. My dad too. So never allow myself to get in that position. Plus, like I said, I'm introverted, so I don't get it. Like, I'm not one to go like
You're not looking for it.
yeah, I'm not even so.
It's gonna be
That's made
difficult
it
to
easy
penetrate.
too. Exactly, but yeah, like you have to be a certain type of person to get me out of my shell. So it's
Gotcha.
pretty hard to even get there.
Dad, what type of conversations have you had and do you now have? Because he's at that man age, and in a lot of countries, hell, even here at home, he's technically an adult.
Yeah.
What those conversations look like when you're trying to have those manly conversations about women, about drugs, about the pearls of the streets? I mean, you're from Chicago, you know what I'm saying for.
I'm from Inglewood.
Right.
I probably looked crazy the way I was talking to him so young, because I started very early telling him about drugs and the streets and how I grew up and the type of parents that I had. And that's why I'm so aggressive, because my parents, they were there, but they wasn't.
Got you.
I mean, they was in the crib, but they wasn't.
Also, what I hear when you say that, again, as parents, myself, Bo, both our wives, I'm sure your wife, we parent from a position of how we were parented, right?
Yeah.
Our experiences as children, good and bad. So like now we are parents, and I have my experiences as a child. Well, first of all, I got sent away to military school. From 5th grade all the way up to 10th grade, I lived at a military school. My behavior was enough where my mother felt like, I need to do something about that.
Correction.
And then, of course, you don't really understand it as a child. You feel like, damn, your family don't want you, da-da-da-da. So I dealt with those things. But now that I'm a child, now I'm a parent, I understand it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so when I think about those experiences, we definitely try to provide things that, I appreciated when my mom and dad did that. I didn't like when they did this. Let me try to merge those things. Do you find that you have parented in that way with Jaquil?
Definitely. I still feel like I'm repeating myself to this day over and over and over.
I mean, that's the nature of the beast, though. That ain't never going to stop.
But I know he understands. I just feel like he's at the age right now, he's testing me because he's becoming a man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now,
and it's natural, and I get it. It's just that I can't wait until he's at the age where he's looking back.
Sometimes you might have to introduce him to Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, my left arm hurt right now.
Yeah, exactly. I had to
because I stole on you yesterday.
I had to it's been a couple times where so in my house with Xavier, but Ziggy gonna be the one. I'm not gonna be able to play with him like that, right? But with Xavier, we got gloves. Put these gloves on. Like you want a shot at the title, come get your shot at the title. Now I will not front my move. The most recent, which was a while back,
He got you.
he caught me. He caught me. I almost had to pull the blicky out on him. Like, hey man, you hit me too hard there. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing with me.
So just yesterday, I had to take my wife's computer cord to stop him from beating me up.
Yeah, so when we wrestle and stuff, I noticed early on, probably about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago, Zay getting stronger. It's like that grown man strength. Yeah. So now it's like, hey man, get off me. Stop playing with me. I'll be the one that initiated, but then when he kind of get me, it's like,
thank you.
Stop playing with me.
He be starting stuff, and then once he realized I'm serious, and then
or you are getting stronger.
He'll get the last lick and then get serious, tell me to stop and get a cord.
Because I'm the daddy. That's how
I do.
We can't be embarrassed in front of our women.
That's our position.
Now you got to deal you let Jaquil beat you up.
Look at what is created though. When you feel that way against anybody else other than me, you always win because you got so much tension and built up frustration from not finishing fights.
I got to take this out of that. Yeah, exactly.
You haven't finished so many fights with me, you waiting for a fight.
For sure. You've been called CNN hero, Young Wonder, a Marvel hero, Red Cross Youth Hero. Obviously, you've had the recognition from President Obama and the GOAT himself, LeBron. Out of all them titles and recognition you've received, which one of those hit the deepest and why?
That's hard to choose. I would say mainly, growing up to the first black president and then one day getting to meet him, that was definitely one of the best days of my life.
I'm jealous.
But I would definitely give an honorable mention to working with Nike and Marvel because growing up, every kid wants to be their favorite superhero, and then when I got that email, how old was I? Like 13.
Yeah.
Like that young, being able to
12,
be in the
13.
same category and get my own comic book and an episode, it was unbelievable. And then Nike, every kid wants their own
Everybody,
shoe.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
loves Nike. So working with them was a dream come true. Getting to go to the headquarters and work with staff, it was just an awesome opportunity early on that I think prepared me for a lot of adult type of stuff that I'll go through in the future. Yeah.
What was that like meeting President Obama?
It was crazy. It was
Is it
actually
better than you
yeah, it was a surprise actually. After he tweeted about me a couple months later, he requested to meet me. But we thought it was just like a reception. The Obama Foundation reached out to us, and when I got there, I was the only kid in the room. I ended up like networking for like an hour, and there was no seats, no food. It was like, what type of event is this? So my mom was ready to go, and we were about to walk when a guy came out and said, "You guys are now gonna meet Obama." So I started jumping up and down, getting super excited. I went to the line where you meet him. When I walked up to him, there was a lady next to him who tells him who the person is, so he doesn't like.
So that's
forget.
true. The Key and Peele
yeah.
skit is
They
true.
do that.
Yeah. So he doesn't.
This is
forget.
Jaquil Jackson. Hey, so he don't really know you. Somebody had to tell him.
Yeah, no. So
Man.
so he actually interrupted her before she could say my name, and he said, "I know who this young man is. I was tweeting about him." So to know that he remembers somebody little
love.
like me a few months later, and we had a conversation about like my future goals, and it was a really cool moment. Yeah.
And by the way, Obama, if you listening, he's 18. He's trying to get into school right now.
Help us out, big
Help
dog.
us out, big
you know
dog.
what I'm saying? That's interesting to hear that there really are people standing next to those powerful people.
Yeah.
Reminding them. Now, the fact that person has to remember all them people
Yeah,
is
that's
astonishing.
crazy.
That's a big job.
Now, you mentioned Marvel. Who's your favorite Marvel character?
Spider-Man, of course. I would say Miles Morales specifically. Then I go Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, mine's is Wolverine. What about yours,
Wolverine.
Pop?
He don't got
I don't have one.
Like, I don't like cartoons. I got you. Project I Am recently partnered with Shower Up Project in Chicago. Talk to us about that collaboration. Why was expanding beyond blessing bags important to you?
That was important to me. I've had moments where I doubted myself, doubted what I was doing with the organization. I think it was maybe closer to COVID, a little bit after COVID, where I felt like, I was getting older and the cute kid was wearing off, and it was like I wanted to do more, and I was doubting like what I was like doing isn't doing anything for him.
Is it enough?
It was like a hard time for me. My parents were telling me what I'm doing is giving them hope. So then I realized that, I have to keep going, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you stop looking for, other solutions. So started looking at different organizations doing great stuff for the community, and the Shower Up Foundation was one that we saw was a big need, especially in the homeless community. So working with them was pretty cool. Getting to do the bags at the same time while giving them the opportunity was awesome.
Basically still staying within what you had started out to
Exactly.
do. Oh, that's good. You wrote your first book, I Am, at 12 years old, and inspired by your own experiences with bullying. Talk about what bullying felt like, which is kind of one of those like, man,
Yeah.
you know what bullying feels like, and how you turned that into something that you could help other people.
Yeah, so before COVID, actually, during I want to say 6th and 7th grade, it was a pretty rough time. You never really know what the reasons are. It could be multiple. It could be you're getting girls, you're getting too much popularity. Like that was
on.
6th and 7th grade. Yeah, you got good, nice clothes.
Right,
It can be anything at that middle school age. So, that was a moment where it was like a lot of stuff was picking up for me in terms of just working with people and getting that recognition. So, it was a rough time through 6th and 7th grade. Didn't really know how to maneuver it, and it was getting really bad right when COVID hit. So quarantine happened. And I didn't wish COVID, but it kind of came at a perfect time. And I used that time to just reflect. And parents, they did an amazing job just getting me back to myself, did affirmations, and I used that. And I needed a way to kind of get all of my frustration out. So writing a book was an idea they thought of. I never thought I was going to be an author, writer. So it kind of just came out of necessity, and I wrote my first book with the help of Miss Ariel Biggs, who was a book coach, and she does an amazing job, and I was able to, help so many young people with that book. So it's one of my biggest accomplishments.
I'm sorry, what's the name of Ariel's company? Kids. What?
I'm forgetting.
Well, shout out to Ariel Biggs
Yeah.
in St. Louis with Biz Kids.
Yeah.
Biz
Biz
kids.
Kids.
Dad, how did that experience of him being bullied, that was it something that he came and just told y'all like, hey, I'm being bullied? Did you pick up on some behavior changes as far as he's already kind of like a isolated internal kid? How did you and your wife recognize that? Did he say something? Did y'all peep it? Was it a combination of the two?
I think the very first incident, because Nike was very big in his journey at that point, and kids recognize Nike right off bat. They
Right.
love Nike.
Right.
But it's not exempt to adults. I think the first incident was one of his teachers. Had something slick to say as if they didn't believe what he was doing. So he came home complaining about how they didn't believe he was working with Nike.
And it's probably one of our own people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
No, it wasn't.
No?
No, I remember what you're talking about. It
The
wasn't.
tall, skinny lady.
No, she was. No, she
She's not
wasn't.
black.
Okay. All right, no worries.
Right.
No worries.
But I just remember it's not exempt to just kids. I mean, it be adults sometime, and they're teaching these kids what to say and how to say, and kind of gathering them up to pick on one individual. And this started happening in elementary school, so imagine what high school was like.
Ja, when that experience of being bullied, right? And again, the generation today is a little bit different than than me and your dad and your mom's generation,
Yeah.
right? You see so many stories of people being bullied and they deciding to self-harm themselves,
Yeah.
right? You decided to, use that experience to, I don't know if you knew it at the time that you was going to be helping other people, but you said you just needed a way to kind of like get that off your chest, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. Like when you say that whole experience of bullying, because again, I was bullied as a child. I didn't think to write a book. I didn't have too many that I can recall self-harming thoughts, but it did, and it probably continues I have a lot of stored anger at times. Just kind of talk about that a little bit. Like, what did that feel like? How did you kind of, get that out? I know in writing, but like, talk about those experiences.
Yeah, I would say definitely, like I said, the affirmations, but I definitely still do have a lot of built up, like you said. I can at times get angry, have different feelings that I just don't know how to control, or don't know how to necessarily, like, I don't always have, that book to write. So it's like, how else do you go about it? I've actually, it seems like a joke, but they got me like a punching dummy, and like whenever I was frustrated or angry, I just go down there, get some work in, and it was pretty helpful. As much as like cliche as it may seem, it definitely was helpful.
And
Cause
to piggyback off of that, he also put a lot of that frustration into his craft, just working and getting stronger, and getting better, getting up shots or whatever.
People don't realize that the things that they say to our kids has such a profound impact on their development, right? I mean, hell, some of the things that we may say to them has such a profound impact. And I try to be mindful of that, particularly when I think about Xavier and Zayden. And for us, black men, we're raising black boys. So it's really important in my home. I sometimes might OD on telling them that I love them. Because I can remember growing up, I didn't hear it a lot from my dad. And I remember before he died, I kind of confronted him one day after we prayed, right? I'm like, Abi is Arabic for dad. I'm like, I know that you love me because your actions show that. You housed me, you clothed me. So like, I get it, dog. You love me, but I've never heard you tell me. And it kind of messed him up a little bit. It's like, well, yeah, I do. But it came from his generation of not being, told and all of that. So like, that's really interesting. Your second book, Don't Wait to Be Great dropped when you were 16. What was the message you felt most urgently needed to get out to young people at that point in your life?
Yeah, at that point, I was going through a big struggle with, I would say, time management and also kind of honing all of my ideas and goals, I would say. So, Don't Wait to Be Great is really just like a game plan and a roadmap through achieving your goals. And I wanted to do kind of like a creative spin because it was my first chapter book. So I wanted to do it in the form of like a first, second, third, and fourth quarter. And then the book even has like an overtime section. So a little creative like that, but just kind of using that basketball aspect as well to kind of shine light on, it's okay to not have everything together at this moment, and patience is important.
And now your third book, Built Different. What's the core message? How does it reflect where you are right now as an 18-year-old navigating basketball, entrepreneurship, and just life all at once?
Yeah, Build Different is kind of going back to that first book's idea of just mental health, self-esteem, and learn how to love yourself, I would say, because I know what it's like to, especially through these past few years, just to be chasing dreams while having a lot on your shoulders. So that can be a lot of pressure, a lot of built up stress and emotions that you just don't know how to handle. And sometimes that's when, unfortunately, people say it's just over and they want to, harm themselves, which is unfortunate. But, if I can do anything to help, I want to be able to, spread a message, and even if it just helps one person, that's good.
Now, you've written 3 books now before you even step foot on a college campus. Do you see yourself continuing to write? What type of story would you like to tell next that you are possibly eager to tackle? I heard a couple things that you said there that like, man, that would make a good book that you just spoke on. But is there anything kind of like spinning in your wheelhouse that you're like, you know what, my next book, I might want it to be this?
I would say it's something I'm thinking about now. Like I said, I never thought I was going to be an author, but definitely seeing the impact that it's made, I think it's something that I can continue doing. It's If anything, I would say it's like just dealing with haters or dealing with pushback in your life.
Talk about it. I see your.
I
I
would
see you.
say-
I see you. I see the wheel
Yeah,
spinning.
I would definitely say the
It's
next
not-
one would be about pushback and just dealing with a lot of stress throughout.
It wasn't a coincidence.
Go ahead, Dad. Go
It
ahead.
wasn't a coincidence that his third book, Built Different, was dropped on his graduation day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a point to that.
Okay. And so this new book, if it comes to fruition, could be, a book where you're talking about some of the things that you went through in your basketball journey.
Yeah.
Some of the highs and lows, some of the, the shit that got done to you.
Yeah.
We can talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to jump into your basketball journey
Okay.
now. You ready for that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now, you said, I read that you've been playing basketball since you was 4 years old. Where did the love for the game come from? And when did it shift from just being fun to something you wanted to pursue seriously?
Yeah, I grew up in a basketball family. My older cousins played basketball, and I was always a big competitor. So it was just something that I kind of fell in love with. For when I came home, I got like a basketball. I went straight to the basketball as like the first present, and just home to that. And basketball has just become such an important part of my life. I would say when the transition happened, because I was I've always been focused on the organization, like that, because that was my big thing growing up. But on the side, a lot of people didn't know I played basketball as well. But I grew up playing. I've been playing with French Fry, then different AAU programs growing up. So I would say the organization shadowed a little bit over the basketball portion. But then when it kind of became real to me when I wanted to pursue it, I would say maybe freshman.
14 years
Yeah,
old.
maybe freshman year. That's when I realized it's something that I really need in my life. Yeah.
We didn't really push him to get serious because it's not necessary until that 15-year-old age group.
Right.
Like you got kids traveling the country at 11, 12 years old. It's not necessary because, it can be, but it wasn't for him. Every situation can be unique.
To bring it back a little bit, one of your mentees again, Harper, right? So again, I've known this young man since birth, and I know his mother. Shout out to Ashley, who does a really amazing job on the outside looking in. So I can only imagine how hectic it is on the inside looking out, of trying to balance Harper's lifestyle as far as his platform, but also trying to keep that whatever of him being a young man, wanting to hoop, wanting to do this, wanting to do that. So when you think about that, how are you able to, or what do you want to do when it comes to like your basketball journey now as you are continuing your trajectory?
What you're just saying, like, what is my
What's
goals
your
and stuff?
what's your ultimate goal? Like, what's
yeah.
the end game there?
Yeah, of course, play professionally, play Division I. That's the goal. But however that looks, taking basketball serious, and is something that I definitely see myself doing for the rest of my life. Even if I'm not playing, I always want to be around the game.
You grew up honing your game in Chicago, obviously, and Chicago is one of the most competitive basketball cities in the country. You got Chicago, you got LA, obviously you got New York. Those, when you think about basketball, those are probably the things that the places that you think about the most.
Yeah.
First 2 years of high school, you attended De La Salle, then you transferred to Curie. Tell us the major differences between the two schools, basketball-wise and overall.
I would say just competitive-wise, it was way more competitive when I switched over to the public lead, of course, but and way tougher, I think. And I just kind of grew. Well, I would say I was already aggressive going over because I had so much to prove. I had so much stress built up between like my freshman and sophomore year at De La Salle that I just needed to be aggressive. I had no choice but to. So I kind of adapted to that play style, and I was a perfect fit. I fit right in, and it wasn't like a huge adjustment process where I needed to go from being, a little timid to being like a tougher player. Yeah.
I've never seen him be a timid player. He's always been a defensive-minded player.
Right.
So to try to say that Jaquil is soft or he don't be aggressive, it's crazy because like he average steals or blocks.
Yeah. I'd rather people complain about me being too aggressive than not being aggressive at all. So that's always been how I play, kind of defense-wise.
Hates being scored on.
Yeah.
Dad, I heard you say something that I want to touch on. You said you hate hearing that he plays soft. When you hear that, and you know your child. You know when he is being soft. I mean, let's be honest.
True.
You know when your child's being soft because
Yeah.
it's kind of like, hey, man, you being soft. When you hear that and you hear those things that's being said about him, how much does that frustrate you?
It's frustrating because we, like you said, we know our own children. It's always room to try to show and prove. But when not given the chance to show and prove, it starts to look like you're being blocked. You're being shunned in a sense. Jaquil has always been a really tough defensive type of player because he hates to be scored on. He don't like to be embarrassed. He's always been in the spotlight, so he don't want you going home saying, hey, I scored on Jaquil Jackson, because kids know who Jaquil Jackson is.
Right, that name.
That name alone.
And you think that's something that they, just from the name alone, that they kind of like latch on to? And
Of course. They targeted Jaquil Jackson.
Do you feel that coaches, because of Ja's philanthropy and his nonprofit and the things that he's done outside of basketball, has attributed to some of those things that were being said about him?
Of course, because caring about people alone is soft.
Yeah.
Let alone caring about the homeless.
Right.
People really like disrespect the homeless.
Yeah.
And we come from Chicago, the land of like where people think they're really gangster and hardcore and all this crap.
Mm-hmm.
So when something positive that really like is the polar opposite of what
Was being done and
pushed.
said. Yeah, yep.
We see it on TV, on the radio, and we live it. So when something like Jaquil Jackson comes along, it contradicts everything we stand on.
Yeah, and I think that it it kind of like is like assuming before even giving me a chance. Just a lot of people based on like the way I talk, because I have a I know how to articulate myself. So when people see that and
He's not
then
from streets.
it's when people see that and then see that I play basketball, it's like, oh, not to take him serious in basketball.
Who did you hear a lot of that from? Did you hear your peers on the court saying it the most, or did you hear coaches and the people who supposed to have the basketball whatever say it the most?
I would say me personally, I heard it the most from peers, from people, other basketball players my age. Yeah.
How much did that frustrate you?
How
much does it still probably frustrate you?
I mean, like when I heard it, it was mostly from people, from young people that like I didn't respect in the first place.
I got to
so like it was too. Yeah, it was like when I heard it, it was like I already thought of you as a joke, so it's hard for me to take that serious. But like,
how many of those people that said something like that did you was like, I'll bust your ass? Like, did you play them 1-on-1 to show them? Anybody?
A lot of the people that I've heard it from, it wasn't even towards me. It was like I heard it through somebody else. You feel me? So like, it wasn't like I knew the person personally, but it was. I wish I would have gotten a chance to like, because me personally, I've always like he said, I'm a defensive player, but I'm gonna talk about this later too. But like, I don't like being put in a box. But so like because I grew up being like that catch and shoot player in the corner, not always getting a chance to show my dribbling capability, not being able to show what I can do. And then I got to a stage, I think I got to show it on AAU when I was playing with Illinois Jaguars with Coach Jackson, my favorite coach that I've played with. He kind of gave me a chance to because he saw what I can do. Exactly. So that was when I took the opportunity to show what I can do. And then I went somewhere else and got put in a box, kind of. So it's really unfortunate, but because I'm good at like every aspect of the game, in my opinion, and like I don't like being put in a box necessarily, because it's just limiting, like trying to limit what I can do. So
shout out to Coach Jackson from that team, because he wasn't necessarily just going to give Jaquil that opportunity. We had a real good conversation, and he did me a solid and let Jaquil shine that year.
One of the things, I'm glad you kind of touched on that, because I'm really big on, and I did this a lot during the recruiting process with Xavier for colleges, is that I want Xavier to earn it, right?
Yeah.
I don't want it to be given to him, but here's the kicker. And I was very adamant on a lot of recruiting things, and I may have hurt him a little bit. It's like, I want you to push him. I want you to make him earn it. But when he earns it, you better give it to him.
Yeah.
Right? Because don't play with him. Because in our house, that's how if you earn it,
right.
you got it. Like, I don't have no problem giving you what you earn, because that's how the world is supposed to be.
Yeah, supposed to.
Unfortunately, it's not. So if you're going to learn it, I would rather you learn it in my house and you have that tool to know that, hey, wait a minute, I'm being shortchanged because I earned that shit.
You
know
get
what I'm saying?
for what you do.
How much in your journey do you feel that you earned but you wasn't given?
A lot. Starting like when I was a baby, really. Like I've been in the whole Chicago basketball scene growing up. Like I said, didn't really realize I needed it until freshman year. But I grew up that way because my parents always put me in activities that I was passionate about, whether it was basketball, tap dance, break dance, acting, modeling, whatever it was. They wanted to put me in a program to see if I liked it, and I just stuck with certain things. But with basketball, it was like always, because of the philanthropy, because of what I was doing, I was soft apparently, and wasn't always given a chance to. But through AAU, through school basketball, it's always politics in Chicago. So that's something that has followed me, and it's always like you gotta leave Chicago to a lot of people I've seen. I've left Chicago and done amazing.
I've done amazing things.
Mm-hmm. That's something I wish I would have done.
And we're gonna talk about the politics, but you had to sit out your 11th grade year, correct?
Yes.
What did you do? How did you stay passionate about basketball?
Yeah.
How much did you miss it, and how much did that fuel you for when you were able to play again in your 12th grade year?
Yeah. When I was ruled ineligible, it was one of the hardest things I've went through. I remember the moment that we got the final decision because it was a whole process.
Yeah.
So, like,
We had
when
Congress on our side. We had
Yeah.
Operation Push on our side.
It was-
we had
it was a lot that we were doing to try to change the verdict. But when the final decision came, I was like livid. Like, I was punching stuff. I was crying.
The
like
punching dummy got some
no,
work done?
no.
He got
I was yeah. It was bad. Like, and at that point I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to quit and just focus on like all the other activities I had and just start my regular life, or if I wanted to keep going. So it was definitely like a week where it was like, I don't know what I'm finna do. And coaches were kind of giving me time to think or just process what was happening because I was angry. But I stayed with the team. I practiced. I wasn't able to play, of course, but I practiced, and it was a time where I kind of became the player that I am today. I would say just worked on my skill set really, and just being the best player I could be and getting ready for that next year. But
what was being said to you approaching that following year, that senior year?
Approaching that following year, there were things like being said to me like, you know, are you ready to take on that leadership role? Because we had a really good player our junior year, and then all the seniors left. So our best player, they were telling me like, are you ready to step into that role? Are you ready to like hand over the keys, that type of stuff? And I was getting excited. I was ready because I was eligible my whole junior year, so I'm ready, and I was thinking I was gonna have the greatest year of my life. I already, because I've had a rough go at high school basketball, so I thought that was gonna be like my year to shine.
And it didn't happen that way.
No,
you wasn't given the keys.
No.
You didn't feel like the opportunity was provided that you earned.
Right.
No.
How did that feel?
They were like after telling
start with summer league and fall league.
Okay, yeah. So like after telling me things like giving you the keys and you were like the best player in practice your junior year, like things like that, because I didn't have anything to lose my junior year. I'm in practice busting everybody.
Right.
I don't got nothing to lose. So senior year came. Before senior year, we're doing fall league, summer league, and I'm starting.
He is killing.
I'm doing good in
I was at some of those games too.
Yeah. A lot of people are excited because I was out my junior year. A lot of people have started to know who I am basketball wise, so they kind of see like and are excited for what's gonna happen senior year. So fall league, summer league is over, and
I'm sorry. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Going into fall league, he also did summer with IO, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Working out.
No, the AAU.
AAU. Right.
So he was making some noise, and I know it was prep hoops, but he was getting ranked and he was getting talked about, and
that's all right.
And the moment he get to this particular school, he had a bunch of interest at that point too from playing with IO.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But we get to a certain school, and then they told us they made a call, and all of these things go away. So now you can go into the fall, how fall led into the season.
So I had to get wisdom teeth surgery like 2 weeks before the season. So I went. I wasn't able to go to school because of the wisdom teeth surgery,
but he waited until.
But I went. It was like 2 days I missed because I had to stay at home, and then the rest of the week I went to practice. I just wasn't able to play, and then the next week, the week before our first game, I practiced that whole week. But I was kind of I practiced the whole week, but thinking everything's the same. I didn't have any they didn't have any conversations with me saying things changed or they're going to go a different direction, anything like that. It was just like a surprise moment. And that particular time, it was always a thing of like doing right by their seniors, and they will always do right by their seniors. But it was like the game day comes, and I'm thinking I'm about to go out and start, and then I get call it out. I'm not pointed at. So I'm like, that was the first I heard of it. It would be different if it was like a conversation that past week where they said they were going a different direction, but it was like what's happening, because it's the first I'm hearing about it. So that ended up being like my best game of the year. It was like one of the starters got injured, I think, at the halftime, so I got to start the second half. And it gave me an opportunity, and it was like my best game. And one of the coaches actually didn't expect me to do well because they didn't start me. Like
the coach said that.
The next day at practice, he called me over and he was like, I didn't expect you to play that well, being that we didn't start you. So like you were it was like that, it was crazy. And
to reiterate what he just said, so. He was killing summer and fall league. People are getting excited because they looking like, man, if this is the starting five, then we gonna be straight.
Mm-hmm.
So game 1 of the season happens, and instead of letting them know what was what, they waited till Jaquil was walking out into the court and said, "Nah, come back here." Like they could have had a conversation. Like you're trying to make this kid perform poorly.
Why do you think that was?
Why? I mean. Why would you do that, or?
Yeah. Why do you think they did that to him? Do you think it was a part of his status in the community?
Off the court.
Off the court.
I think that has always played a part in his life, regardless if it's this.
No matter
people,
what.
If it was elementary school, that has always played a part.
Okay. From that experience that you dealt with from that first game. And it just trickled into the remainder of the season.
He actually had the leading score in that game, and they tried to tell the newspaper that he didn't.
It was like conversation later. Okay, the year goes on. Later in the year, I'm having conversations like when is it going to change? When am I going to get my spot back? Basically, and they're telling me things like, "Don't worry about that type of stuff. Keep working. It will come." Games
You're
and
the best
games
player
and
on the
games.
team. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
You're getting starter minutes.
You're getting starter minutes was their excuse. That I'm getting starter minutes. But there's 2 juniors starting over me. So at the same time, while that's true, I'm getting starter minutes. It's like the perception mattered to me just because apparently they do right by their seniors. And it's like
that has always been the case until now.
That's always been the case, exactly. And it's like, it's like, why does it change now? And
it's 1 year.
Yeah, and it just trickled down and it never happened.
Okay, so let's tease that out a little bit, right? The mindset that coaches, because it happens on the collegiate level as well. Hell, it happens in AAU. It's like you're getting starter minutes, right? When you hear that, knowing that, it's like, in your mind's like, I'm getting starter minutes. All right, well, just make me the damn starter then, right?
If it don't matter, then why is it a question whenever you do the questionnaires for colleges? If you was a starter or not, check this box. Like, if it don't matter, why is that a question?
I mean, that's true. That's true. And so my actual question is this. Hearing that, are you playing starter minutes? And to some degree, that's true. You're playing starter minutes, so like, why does that matter? How much did that affect your game from the frustration that you're not getting starter minutes to also like, all right, cool, I'm not getting starter minutes. I'm gonna bust everybody's ass out here. Did that weigh any on you?
It frustrated me throughout the whole year. Like, how do I say? Like, when I'm hearing that. After, like I keep asking them, and then that's messing with my head. When you tell me I'm the best player, but I'm not a starter and I'm getting starter minutes, it's like it just doesn't make sense to me. I may be young, I may not know as much as
but I know
something
ain't right.
When something isn't right. When that happened, it's like I'm an actor, so like I'm gonna try to put on a face and. The whole year went by, I'm asking questions and I'm nodding my head, being respectful, never lashing out on them, never trying to be combative and try to get in an argument. I'm saying yes and trying to move on and then waiting for the next opportunity to ask. And
but that doesn't say that there wasn't attempts to make him act out. There was a million attempts to push buttons and make him have to give them a reason to do what they're doing, so they can justify.
So they can say this is the reason.
This is the reason,
Exactly.
but that never happened
Talk
to the point where they started messing with the parents.
Yeah, and battling, I would say battling that, like the whole situation in itself, but also, you know, then your teammates get to ask
Comment.
you what's wrong when it's obvious. They get to, you know, trying to make fun of you, trying to antagonize you, and then like that's when like anger builds up. Like it's one thing to be going through it, but then getting antagonized and you can't
By your own team.
you can't even really like express yourself. Then you just want to like lash out. But I never did that. I kept my composure. If you want to talk about the parent.
I don't, because it's so heavy that I could have pressed charges, but I didn't, in efforts to not make him look like the problem kid to these recruiters.
Right.
So we kept quiet all of this time, and now we're in a situation where he is like a 5-star in my eyes, but he don't have no offers.
So hearing that, right, how much did the decision play on your end of Jaquil's status in the community as far as his philanthropy play a part in, like, you know what, I'm not going to make too many waves because I don't want that to have a negative impact on this side of the fence. How much did that play an impact?
We are big on
his brand and all
his brand,
right.
And just keeping a positive look on everything. It's hard to try to teach him stay positive, and then I spaz out. But this is my child, and I'm going to
don't play with my child.
Right. There was one game where one of the coaches at that particular school told the head coach to sit him down for the rest of the game, and they ended up losing to a team that they should have blew out. And the points that they lost by is his average. So wait a minute. After that game, something happened in the locker room, and Jaquil called me like, "Dad, please come to the hallway, come get me," because he felt threatened. So I go to the hallway to go get him, and this is where an incident happened where I could really like hurt their
Credibility,
brand, credibility. And I chose not to press charges and everything, in efforts to help him still get recruited. And being quiet didn't help, because now their narrative is the only narrative that's out there.
That's the only narrative that's out there.
Anybody calling that coach about Jaquil,
Exactly.
he get to say whatever BS he wants to say, and we're being quiet because we want him to get recruited.
Yeah.
We are living in we're living in an era of social media. We're living in an era where social media can and has been a negative tool. Why haven't you guys tried to use social media from a positive tool with getting that story out of what happened to you?
I would say.
And why? So
yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like not so much why, but like, so for me, if I'm wrong by Jaquil Jackson, I want the world to know it was Jamil who wronged me, right? My brand aside is like, this is what happened. Like, Jamil wronged me. We are living in that era where you can and should be able to speak up. Why the decision to like not say?
Can I say
Yeah,
something?
let me start. So I would say, like he said, like I've always had a clean slate. I've always been in the public's eye. I've always been like the good kid. And it hasn't worked. I'm not gonna lie, it hasn't worked at all at this point. And like recruitment, whether it was brands that I was working with, I never wanted to seem like a problem or an issue. But when lies are starting to be told and I haven't said anything, like now it's getting to a point where it's doing more harm than helping me, and it's messing up my opportunities, and it's not getting me any opportunities. So it's like now I have to, or else
say his side.
Exactly, say my side of the story.
It's messing up those opportunities. Do you how frustrating is it? And I want to be careful with how I want to ask because I don't want to alienate any potential future opportunities. But how frustrating? Because I not for the same reason, but I do feel like Xavier is experiencing the same thing, right? Where it's like people would rather believe what they heard than know what they can find out factually.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right?
And to Jaquil's point, all you have to do is Google his name. It's like you would
see the type
understand
of
the
person.
situation.
Yeah.
You
Right.
will understand. You will understand why anybody would hate on him.
Well, even I'll take it a step further, Dad. Like, let's just say we're living in the era. Unfortunately, we are living in the era where you can Google somebody, but it's like, no, come do the fucking homework. Come and sit down and talk to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
if not-
so I'm at the age now. Here's the difference between me and your dad and mom and where you are, right? I'm at the age now, and it could have something to do with because I'm a Sagittarius. I'm at that point in my life where it's like, believe whatever the fuck somebody tells me. I don't care. It really doesn't bother me no more. Like I'm actually dealing with a situation right now where I lost a friend, a really good friend, based off of something someone told him, right? Something that happened, there was some truth, there's some truth in it, but it's also like, like we could have had a conversation where I could have got an opportunity to explain myself and whatever, but instead, here we are. And honestly, let's stay there. Right? And so
Sometimes those decisions better suit how they feel about you. So if they looking for a reason not to like you, I mean, they found one really easy.
right, but for Ja, like we still want that opportunity for him. So these coaches are taking the word of this coach, right? Like I'm gonna just keep it a bean with y'all. Like I'm trying to like be respectful because
trying.
because I ain't got it's like I want to say and I like I built this brand like Bo, it's about to happen, Bo. It's about to happen. I've built this brand on. I've worn on my sleeves that I personally do not like following that good old boy network the Chicago basketball has processed or has produced, right? There's a lot of gatekeepers in Chicago basketball, this coach included, right? I don't know him personally, so I'm not gonna talk about him personally, but they all have that. Whatever. It's like things got to run through them in order to be, right?
They all hang out.
And they all hang out. And again, I don't know them. I don't know him personally. But it's unfortunate that these men that have been knighted as the people of Chicago basketball have such influence over someone's future and potentially livelihood, especially if you don't fit within their mold of how you want them to do things. Now, then there's coaches, this coach included, who has had their children play for them. And they make sure that their children are
straight.
No different than what I would do for mine. Because if I was coaching Xavier, you goddamn right.
That's why I haven't coached.
One of the reasons why I stopped coaching Xavier. But it's unfortunate that this has happened to you and it's affecting your basketball opportunities. And so I'm just curious on how, because the choice has been made to be strategic on how you want to put the narrative out. How do you feel that is helping you, or how do you want that to help you?
It's hard because I don't know if it's. I mean, of course, I hope that it helps me, but at this point, I don't know if this is going to make it worse. I don't know if it's going to make it better, but it needs to be out there because we've always had thoughts that this was happening because I feel like I've been shadow banned or some.
But we have
but y'all got actual confirmation.
Confirmation from lawyers, so it's difficult to drop that bomb, but trying to ride that fence and be the better person, the bigger person, but they have been doing and saying things about him to NIL representatives, coaches, like they are really hurting his.
So now that we have proof, it's like we don't exactly. Now that we have proof, it's like I don't know how many other opportunities that he stopped because I know now that he's capable of it. We've always had thoughts, but now that I know that, you know, it's
It's
possible, it's like, how many other things has he stopped?
Or and then part of your brand, right, in writing your books, have you written these books from a standpoint of like helping other people? This could also be happening to someone
Exactly.
Someone else.
else, to someone
Exactly.
else, right?
Another reason why it's important for Jaquil to tell his story. It's not just about Jaquil, because it's a bunch of kids going through the same thing,
Yeah, especially in
including your
Chicago.
son.
Including my son. Now, this particular coach had nothing to do with my son, which I'll be honest with you has been a major reason why I did not send Xavier to any of those public schools. Well, for one, because I honestly didn't want to have to hurt nobody if something happened to my child, because it's hell on earth. But I saw a lot of stuff that was kind of like, you know, and we got the invitations in the hey, why don't you send them here? And it was like, nah, I'm good. So here's my question. Now, that experience that you experienced and that you continue to experience, how do you think that has shaped you as a player?
Of course, like, the aggressive aspect has always been there, but it's made me even hungrier, even more determined to kind of, you know, fight through adversity. But I'm kind of just now finding out the proof. So throughout this past season with Spire, I had no idea that this type of stuff was happening. And I almost want, like, people to stop reaching out to, because reaching out to this coach is not it's not the truth, let alone like this perspective that he's putting out there is nothing close to my character, how I am as a person, how I am as a player, how they are as parents. So for me to actually hear that there's false stories being told, it's
crazy.
It's crazy to me.
Because all you got to do, like, have you been watching the news or the TV this past week? Like, how do you not know who Jaquil Jackson is? It's weird that a kid with so much popularity is still being questioned.
Positive popularity, because Chicago is not known for positivity. Yeah, no, it's not, and they and a lot of the popularity comes from a negative connotation. So, so for a lot of potential coaches that have been maybe following your basketball journey, and in particular with your most recent success at Spire, what do a coach is watching this, you want to say directly what to them?
I want to say,
don't believe the hype. Don't believe.
Some of these coaches don't know. They're too young. They're too young. Yeah, they're too young for that.
I would say that I'm the type of player that's going to give, you know, my 100%. That's not going to that's hard. It's a lot of things.
No talking back.
Yeah, I'm like, when it comes to being coachable, like, I am like your mascot for being coachable. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna retain information that you give me, and on top of that, you're also getting a very skilled basketball player. You know, it's everybody. It's a lot of people that are skilled in this world at basketball, but adding on the coachable aspect, adding on the hungry aspect, the work ethic, on top of, you know, wanting to play defense. Nobody wants to play defense in today's basketball. So it's like, there's so many.
His training history.
Yeah, there's so many positives that go into me as a player and as a person, that it's crazy for me to even hear stories like this being told.
So when we was thinking that this could possibly be going on, like, it was in the back of our mind, we didn't have proof yet. We was thinking, like, even if he was on that, Jaquil is such a great kid that they would look at dude like, you crazy.
Right.
Like,
And that's how they should be looking at him.
That's how they should.
That's how they should be looking at him. And unfortunately, these coaches have afforded themselves the opportunity with their own status to, I guess, not only just be heard, but to be believed, no matter how outlandish the story is. Yeah. I haven't lost sleep.
That's
if
a great
you will.
word, outlandish.
I haven't lost sleep over it, but I do wonder, you know, why. I wonder often. I just had a conversation today with a very important confidant in this space. I often wonder why Xavier hasn't been afforded some of these opportunities when I think about his peers who are doing fantastic. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't want Xavier's opportunity to come at the expense of someone else's opportunity.
Right.
I want it to be
Earned.
from a standpoint. It's like, well, he's just as good.
Yeah.
You know, I see a lot of the guys in his class. Shout out to, you know, a lot of these guys from his 23 class, and the 23 class was loaded, right? That is the reason why I started the platform.
Yes,
I
sir.
started the platform because when we moved here, I felt like, damn, I think my son is okay. I think it started off as like, well, I think he's okay. I think he's decent. I don't fucking know. But, okay, these are the guys the Teddy Banus, who was a fucking soccer player, and the other people from Prep Hoops are saying that is good. Okay, cool. Where I'm from, it's not, it's like, all right, this is what I'll provide a way. So I started this platform. I pay for everything. I continue to pay for everything. And let's see. Let's roll the ball out and see. And then, you know, it caught on like wildfire, right? With the 22 class, because then they started to hit right at COVID. Like I got a picture with the very first run I did. Manas was there. That plays for the Bulls.
Yep.
Shikachi was there. JJ was there. Day Day was there.
Do you still have a line to him? Do he reach out and say thank you? Like that would be dope. Modest. Because he's a Chicago kid, right?
He is a Chicago kid. I'm going to say no, not in the aspect that you're asking, but to be fair, I also haven't all the way reached out to see if that would be possible. Yeah. Now, when he initially got drafted, right, because we used to go over to their house. They live in Hillside. We used to go over to their house, and they would play basketball. Mother and father, phenomenal people. I saw them at the Bulls game when the Sixers came. Showed me love. I saw them mom. So they still speak.
Yeah.
When he initially got drafted, I did reach out to see if, you know, he'd be willing to come and do an interview on the podcast.
Oh, that'd be hard.
They said they would get, you know, he's been in the league 2 years now.
Yeah.
They said they would get back to me. They never did. I know he was super busy, right?
But this is
I didn't push it. I didn't like, you know, because I know they're being pulled from all different directions. He just got into the league. So I kind of fell back. Even like now, right? I could call Jeremiah's father anytime. He calls me to come to things, right? I just went to something on Thursday. So, you know,
the youngest
Jeremy
son was just in the event Jaquil was in.
Oh, right. And now he has his own AAU platform.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for that to die down before I ask if they'd come on the podcast, which I think they would.
This is the reminder right here.
This is definitely the reminder right here. So like, no. So to answer your question, no. But it would be great to a lot of them guys from that class who's having major success on the collegiate level, and two of them in the professional level. And Jeremy, who's from the 23 class, is probably going to go pro from out of Michigan State. So like that would be great. It would be helpful for the platform, but. You know, with all due respect to them, that's not something I hang my hat on.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, or if they don't do it, I'm going to feel some type of way.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
It's not about that at
It's
all.
definitely not about that for me. How political do you feel Chicago basketball is on a scale of 1 to 10?
1,000.
1,000.
It's since I was a baby, like I said, like I grew up, like I would say acquaintances with a lot of
in the same circle
with a lot
names.
of the Chicago basketball kids, but I never really, like I was an introvert, like I said, so I never necessarily like clicked with a lot of people, especially if I didn't grow up with them, if I was just playing basketball with them. So it was like I wasn't in that clique. So in order to kind of be like, you gotta, like you were saying, you gotta know somebody that knows somebody.
Right, that knows somebody that think they know this person.
know somebody.
So it's like if you're not in that clique, then it's hard to.
My bad. It's time to pray. My bad. Go ahead.
Gonna take a break. How long is the prayer?
No, it's cool. No, we ain't got to take a break. You were saying it's hard to kind of know and be in those.
If you're not in that clique, if you're not in that circle, it's hard to kind of put yourself in there, because if you go out of your way and try to, you know, put yourself into that circle, it's not going to work out for you. Like the AAU programs that are popular, like Mean Streets or McIrvin, those I would say I never got into, because I knew if I was to go over there, it wouldn't be like I'm given the same opportunity as somebody who I think I'm good as or better than.
He always wanted to play against them guys, though.
I always wanted Zay to play
Always.
against them. I wanted Zay to be his own machine. I didn't want him to be a part of the machine. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't let Xavier hang out with them dudes either.
Yeah.
Like,
But he knew them all.
he knows them all. Like, because off the court, right? And this is what kills me. Off the court, how do I want to say this? Off the court, a lot of them guys, they into shit that I just didn't want my son around.
Right.
On the court, like peers and all that, cool. Y'all in the gym and y'all doing like-minded things. That's fantastic. But off the court, it ain't like that. And I don't want my son around that. And my son comes from and as well as Ja, it comes from an environment where
We ain't on that.
we ain't on that. And they don't need to be on that. Like Xavier, like he ain't gotta, bro, you need some bread? Like, okay, here goes some money. When Xavier was in college, we found out that he was doing Uber Eats. I had just bought Xavier. My wife and I had just bought Xavier an X3,
Nice.
which was his third car. This was his third
okay.
car. Right?
Not the first one.
No, definitely not the first. First one was a Honda Accord. Second one was an Audi, and now he has an X3. Right?
Ooh.
We bought him an X3. He's out in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we found out because like we had got the notification in his email, like thank you for signing up for Uber Eats or one of the food delivery joints, and I'm like, are you crazy? You out in Fort Wayne, Indiana, delivering food in your car? Like, first of all, I don't want to say you don't need to work, but it's like you don't need to work. We just want you to focus on school. It's like, all right, it was like towards the end of the year. It's like, all right, why you ain't just tell me you needed somebody? Matter of fact,
He was bored.
that's what it boiled down to. But he also has survivor remorse,
Yeah.
where he let his peers tease him about the things that we are able to do for him.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so it's like, yo,
But
I'm
it
sending you
exists.
some money. Oh, it definitely exists.
It exists.
Here go X amount of money. You got to quit today. Like today is your last day doing that. Have you found yourself having that experience where your friends try to make you feel guilty because you come from a two-parent loving home, because you are afforded all of these things through your nonprofit? You've met Obama, which some of them probably don't even know who the hell Obama is, but whatever. Do you find that you've experienced that with your peers?
Definitely. That is another thing that, aside to the soft thing, I've gotten made fun of because I'm able to do positive stuff, which is just so backwards. I've gotten made fun of because I'm able to do these interviews and things like that. So it's very backwards. The world, young people are backwards, and I've kind of had to learn that. But in terms of actually what was I finna say?
What was the question?
I was finna say something. I was finna say I done forgot my what I was
It's
finna say.
okay. It's okay. So go. You was gonna say something, Dad?
I was saying, what was the question? Maybe you'll remember.
Oh, the question basically: does he feel that his peers have kind of, because he comes from a loving family, because he comes from a two-parent home, because he's afforded all of these
Right.
opportunities?
That's what I was finna say.
Right.
A lot of people, because of the opportunities that I've had, because I'm on TV, or if they see me, doing a news thing, they think that I'm rich, or I got it like that, or that adds to the soft thing because they think I have it like that. I come from I don't come from
Wealth.
like
at all.
wealth. So anything that you see me have is stuff that I've built myself, and
Which should be an inspiration.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they think then people start thinking I'm from the suburbs and
We are in the hood.
Just because I talk proper and I know how to articulate myself doesn't mean I grew up in the suburbs, or my parents just knew how to keep me out of stuff. Instead of having me on the corner, they had me in tap dance, they had me in break dance, these different activities growing up to keep me busy. So I wasn't even allowed to be in that type of situation.
That's why he be dancing on the court on y'all.
Do you feel your story hasn't been fully understood?
Definitely. It's a lot of things that get misunderstood in my story. Like we've talked about the soft thing, the perception of me having it like that, just in whatever is being told to coaches, to brands, that's messing up my opportunities, is I'm
He's
trying.
a
I'm here
NIL's
trying. Yeah, I'm
He
here
is
trying.
an NIL's dream.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm here trying to let it be known. Like a lot of that stuff is false. It's
No,
it's not who
no,
I
not a
am.
lot. All
Yeah,
that shit
all
is
of
false.
it. Yeah,
It's all false.
it's not who I am as a person. My character is shown in so much. You can find who I am as a person in so much. So and that doesn't match up to any of the stories
That's
that
being told.
Yeah.
You decided to go to Sperry for your next
Spire.
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 Okay, I apologize. You decided to go there to try to, kind of garner some interest for your recruitment. Moving out of Chicago, living there,
Yeah.
correct? How did you and your family come to that conclusion?
Well, it was like I
Can I
didn't
take
have
that
a
one?
yeah. You can have it.
When we saw the games that were being played his senior year, we were already thinking ahead. So that's happened a few times where we can, because he's been having this type of negative energy because of who he is off the court since elementary school, we can see these things coming a mile away. So when people start acting funny, we start thinking like, okay, what's our next move if this and this happens?
Gotcha.
So when he started getting mistreated at his last school, senior year,
His senior year of school.
we started looking for a post-grad opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wanted to, which I feel like is stupid of me in today's basketball world. I wanted to graduate with my friends, and I wanted to have that whole experience, so I didn't reclass. And I'm already a grade ahead, which also played a part in doing this. I'm supposed to be a senior this year, so I've in the basketball world we live in today, reclassing has become like the norm.
If you don't do it,
exactly,
it's something wrong with you.
and that's
Something
something
wrong with
I
you.
would. Yeah, I wish I would have done that. Probably, I want to say like 8th grade and try to move somewhere else, move out of Chicago. I feel like that would have been really cool for me. But I would say just not having that opportunity to play, my junior year and not having the best go at high school basketball. I played my freshman year on JV. My sophomore year, I played on JV.
Broke your finger.
I broke my finger. So I only played half of that season. And junior year came. I did good in AAU to be able to, get
Keep your name
yeah,
out there.
exactly.
Yeah,
Keep my
yeah,
name
yeah.
out there for junior year when I transferred. Didn't play that year, and then senior year comes. So if you just look at my high school journey, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look like I've had the best go. So just seeing what other opportunities are out there.
You talked a couple times about wanting just to have the normalcy of a high school journey,
Yeah.
right? One of the things that's interesting with that is I remember an opportunity that Xavier had to transfer to a prep school, the local prep school, right? Shot Prep. Shout out to all them guys down there. They were very, Spence and Derek and all them guys. We didn't do it because Xavier wanted to have a normal high school experience.
Yeah.
The whole prom thing,
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to school and all of that.
Yeah.
So like I recognized that right away.
Allow them to still be kids.
Right, for sure. Oh, and that was the thing that we wanted to do. Pronounce it again, Spire.
Yeah.
Spike.
At Spire, the school, the academy has produced LaMelo and Isaiah Jackson. What's the culture like there day to day? What have you learned about your game since being there?
I think I've just learned how to be more aggressive, of course, because I've been given more of the chance to be, that offensive player that I know I could have always been throughout my high school journey, through AAU ball when I was little. Just being given that opportunity it was great this past year, showing what I can actually do. And I think I've just realized how much more I have to offer, really. And days there are pretty fun. It's a very boring town. It's Geneva, Ohio, so it's like an hour away from Cleveland. But I'm a boring person, so I don't need any. Yeah, it's perfect for me. And day to day, it's pretty cool getting to be in a dorm with the guys and learn how to live by myself for the first time. It was a really cool experience.
Getting woke up by that alarm that he don't hear.
Who has been the toughest player? It's a two-part question. From, when you were playing in high school, who was the toughest player you had to guard? Who gave you buckets? Give them their flowers.
Like, two things to that. Like, first of all, it's like that year was really a blur, and it's hard to. And I'm a year removed, so it's hard to remember like specific games where I might have, because I don't get scored on a lot. I take so much pride in my defense. So if one bucket did happen on me, it's like it's hard for me to.
Somebody
remember.
gave you buckets.
Somebody
John.
no.
Plural? Buckets,
Plural is
like
crazy.
multiple?
Plural is crazy. Like if somebody no.
Nobody gave you
No,
buckets.
nobody gave me plural buckets. No,
That's
Okay.
how
like
crazy
if I
his
ever
defense
got,
is.
it was only like once or twice that I got like really scored on, and
Okay.
then yeah, it was
locked
never
them up.
yeah, but I did give some teams.
Oh, that was my
like, I
next. That was my next question.
Yeah.
All right. So my next question is, who was barbecue chicken? Who you give buckets to? Name the player. Name the team.
I'm gonna say Pontiac Tournament Simeon.
Ooh.
That
Gave them
was a
buckets.
good game for
Ooh,
me.
ooh. We could send you clips if you want to add,
No.
add that here.
We can. Yeah, we take them clips and put it in
I
the post
would
production.
say that game. Also, my first game, of course, against who do we play? TF. It was no. It
TF,
was.
no, I mean, no, not TF.
It
It was
was
one of those
Thornton-
West Side schools.
Thornwood.
The West Side school.
It was
with
like
the
a
park.
red and white and yellow school. We played at.
With
Lincoln?
a
Shoot, what is
the
it
gym
called?
was yellow and white.
Oh, I don't know.
Wait.
I don't know.
I have it right here. Do you know who this team is?
He got the clip
I
ready.
got.
He got it ready.
I
folks.
got fly files. It was this game. Wait, what team is this?
Oh! I do know the team.
What's it?
Northridge.
North.
No.
It's
I know.
something
I do know
North
that
Line?
team.
North Line. Is it?
No.
I'm tweaking. I can't remember
I
the
know.
name.
I know the team though. I know
yeah,
the team. I
that
know
was
the team.
that was probably my best game. So I say that. And then of course the last game, our city championship game that we lost against Kenwood, I had a pretty good game.
Right.
I think I was like 3 for 4, and then had a
From
couple
the-
other
from the
points.
three-point line.
Yeah, from the 3-point line.
Two 2-pointers.
You spoke about you speak very highly, obviously, about yourself defensively. Obviously, I've seen you offensively. What do you think is the most underrated part of your game? What are you working on hardest to improve?
Yeah, I would say, like I said, like the box is hard for me because I've worked so hard, knowing that like myself, knowing my game, and knowing that I've worked so hard at every aspect, and getting put in the box is hard for me because I know that I'm a shooter. I know that I can handle the ball. So I would say the most underrated part has become my shooting. I would say, like growing up, I was always known as a person that could shoot because that's all I was tasked to do. My senior year, like I was pretty known for being a good shooter, and because that was like I got put out of my position kind of, and it was one of the main things I was tasked to do. But being able to get that leadership role now here at Spire, I would say, because I'm such an aggressive player offensively, I'm such a good downhill driver, I'm a good defensive player. Most guards that are like that can't shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll see that and then try to like put me
In
in
that
that box.
Mhm.
But no, like I've been at every, like throughout my life, I've been at every
every
stage,
phase.
at every
Yeah.
phase I've had to like be an
Master
expert
that.
at one of those. So like I would say it's shooting, yeah.
Which has done a great job kind of like bringing your whole game together.
Yeah.
You had to master everything. Even on defense,
Even
you
being
had to play center before.
yeah, playing center, I used to be like the tallest, so I had to play
Kid.
center. Yeah,
That's funny. Scout yourself. You talked about it a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Scout yourself. I'm a coach. What you want me to know about your game?
I want you to know that I am a huge defender, somebody that is an introvert, but don't take that for being arrogant. But I will get out of my shell when it comes to it, and talk to my teammates and get loud. But also somebody who is aggressive offensively and crashes boards. I'm a great rebounder as well. Actually, I didn't start dunking and like jumping for real until my junior year when I was ineligible. When I started working on myself, like I used to have no hops. So like that's become an important part of my game. Just being able to be a lob threat, being able to just be able to be a threat at every level. Be a 3-level scorer and great defensively as well.
A follow-up to that question is define yourself as a person. Who is Jaquil Jackson? What type of person am I bringing on my campus?
I would say describing me as a person, you can't really put me into one title like a philanthropist or or an author. I would say a jack of all trades sometimes.
So on and off the court.
Yeah, on and off the court. A jack of all trades.
Okay.
Yeah.
Name your all-time NBA team, starters and six man.
Okay, I would say these are not my favorite players. These are who I think is the best of all time. I would say best point guard of all time, Stephen Curry.
Okay.
Best shooting guard of all time, Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Best small forward of all time, I'm gonna say LeBron. Power forward, I'm gonna go Tim Duncan, and then center, I'm gonna go Kareem.
Okay.
I'll say
Kareem over Olajuwon?
that's hard.
It's his list then.
This is my
This
list.
is his
This
list?
is just who.
I like it.
No, Hakeem is very close, but I would go with Kareem, and then six man, I'm gonna say Jamal Crawford,
Okay.
best six man in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dad, who's yours? Your starters and six man. Because you stole two of my people too, by the way.
I pretty much agree with his list. I just don't know who I would replace LeBron with. So I'm gonna leave LeBron there. I'm not a big LeBron fan
Okay.
because I grew up with the Jordan era.
Right.
So I didn't even watch basketball like that with LeBron.
Mm.
It took Derrick Rose getting into the league for me to watch LeBron.
Oh, got you.
So I wasn't hip on LeBron until Derrick got in the league.
So you would have Steph as the top point, your top point guard?
Yeah, I mean he's the best point guard, but I mean being my favorite.
No, it's
My
not about your
favorite-
favorite, but best you gotta give it to him.
The
But
all
You
time.
gotta give it to
Okay.
him.
yeah.
So mine's
Like,
is
I ain't no hater.
mine's is AI, although he was more of a shooting guard when he played with the Sixers.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
hometown guy, so I'm always gonna say AI, right?
Yeah.
I got Kobe, of course, at the 2, MJ. I got MJ at the 3.
Really?
I got LeBron at the 4. I got Hakeem at the 5.
Oh, so
I
I
like
thought
that.
you were
I
basing
like
on like their
actual
position. So
position.
you moved them around.
Yeah, I
to-
just moved
okay.
them around to fit, my favorite all-time player.
Kobe
And then I'm
Jordan together is crazy.
crazy. And I too have Jamal Crawford as
Okay.
the 6th man.
Okay.
10 years from now, what does success look like for you? Is there a version where basketball and Project IM coexist at the highest level?
Definitely, I want to see myself professionally, playing professionally, but also being able to multitask and keep the nonprofit going. A lot of NBA players are able to manage playing professionally, but also having their own little charities that they have. So it makes it even better that I started this at 8 years old, and it would be even cooler to be able to continue it throughout 10 more years. I think that would be awesome. Also, I'm interested in film. If I was to go to a school, I would hope to major in marketing if they don't have a film program.
Got you. In Islam, I'm Muslim. We believe that our children pick us as parents. I'm hearing that. What does that mean, knowing that you actually picked your mother and father to guide and raise you? Talk about your mom. Talk about your dad, how important they are and how important your family is.
Yeah, and this is where I get offended by those stories that are being told about them, because it's just not what the truth is in reality. My mom is an incredible person. She's raised me to be the confident person I am now. Even though I'm a little shy, I still have that confidence because of her. And seeing her and my father and my grandmother as well, seeing them be their own boss growing up, kind of instilled that in me, wanting to be my own boss and have my own organization. And it takes a village to raise a kid like me. So my dad, he's strong-minded, of course, and that could be misinterpreted sometimes, but he's just wants to protect me and protect those that he loves. So I appreciate everything that they've done for me throughout these past 18 years and continue to do, and will do in the future.
Dad, give me 3 words that describe your son.
Bold, bright, and awesome.
Okay.
Bold, he is doing everything. Anything you put in his face, he can master it. Bright, just very
Just
intelligent.
self-explanatory.
Yeah. Awesome because self-explanatory.
It came from me. I, if you ever ask, when we get off the phone, I'm a FaceTime my wife, so I can ask Ziggy. He'll tell you, and I'm going to save the answer. But you ask Ziggy where he comes from, and wait till it's gonna be very. He
Haven't
knows.
seen him since we first met.
I know, right? One lesson from mom and dad that they taught you. Was
Okay.
one that mom taught you? Was one that dad taught you?
From mom, I'm gonna go with watch out for these girls.
Hey.
she does it.
She don't play.
And then my dad, I'm gonna say, your attitude determines your altitude is one that he has said growing up like a lot. And
Which is
yeah,
crazy that your attitude is being questioned.
Yeah. We got 3 minutes left. It's a two-part question. What do you think about the Exposure Runs platform? What do you think it means to the high school athlete? And then when you've done that, I want you to jump right into looking right into the camera there, and I want you to give yourself a future message.
Okay. Well, the Exposure Runs, it's a huge thing for kids like me specifically. Me, you know, having the experiences I had and knowing that there's so many more kids in Chicago that are going through maneuvering, you know, politics, and seeing something like this where it's no politics, it's nothing, it's no favors, it's no I know this person, so I'm gonna make you a stand.
I probably don't know him anyway.
It's none of that.
Your name don't mean nothing.
Exactly. So seeing something like that that's true to, you know, what you're trying to do finally in Chicago, because I've never honestly seen something that wasn't political, like an actual system, and seeing that is really important to kids like me. So I appreciate everything that you're
The setup
doing.
is beautiful.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
and not even being from here, you're from a whole nother
Yeah,
city. So
and
and you're doing this for kids here, so it's awesome to see. Now, a message for my future self, I would say stay true to yourself. Remember where you come from, and don't ever take an opportunity for granted.
I like that.
There's nothing needed to be said after that. I personally want to definitely thank you guys. Since I've known your dad and have the opportunity to have met you, and of course your mom, you guys have been a huge supporter of what we're doing. You know, I talk to your dad pretty frequently. I remember, it's funny, I'm gonna tell a quick story.
I wanted to tell you.
I'm gonna tell a quick story. I don't know if you know this. You might. After the showcase, your dad was tight with me a little bit, right? And I really appreciate. And I didn't know that he was tight with me. I had no idea. And I saw you on the news one day, and I texted him like, oh, "Wow, I see y'all on the news," and he responded very aggressively. I'm like, "Oh shit, where'd that come from?" And we spent the next couple of hours
2-3 hours
texting back and forth that it started here, and it kind of calmed down to two men realizing like, oh shit, that was just a big misunderstanding. And I'd like to think that your dad saw another side of who I am as a person of like, yeah, it could go there, but like, nah, I think this is just a big misunderstanding. And I've never got a chance to tell you, like, I've really appreciated you from that aspect. That I learned something about you that was like, wow, okay, like, because that don't normally happen in Chicago. People have misunderstandings.
and it's a wrap.
And it's a wrap, one way or the other, or however you want to wrap it, right? And so I really appreciated that, and I really appreciated you still allowing me to have the opportunity, because I'm very purposeful of who I got around my son. And so, like, you didn't allow that to, you know, kind of hinder the relationship. So, like, I just wanted to say thank you for that. I appreciate you, bro.
Man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. And again, John, man, I appreciate you, man. I love those battles you and X be having, for sure. I'm looking forward to it this summer.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Shout out to Bo Harris. Obviously, shout out to, you know, Kennedy Blaze Media Center. Shout out to the Broadview Park District. We really appreciate the opportunity to being up here. And on that note, we out.